Matt James's season of The Bachelor has been one of the most dramatic in the franchise's history. We're officially halfway through and taking a look at everything that's happened so far. Hey guys, welcome to another shared news from home. We cannot believe we are already halfway through Matt's season. So today we're going to go over some of the highlights that have happened so far. But before we get into it, if you're new here, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring, and I'm joined by the wonderful Mariah Davis. And for the first time ever on Shared News, the absolutely hilarious Dave Neal. Welcome to the channel, Dave. Tell the people, I mean, you're a huge fan of all things Bachelor Nation, right?
Yeah, I mean, I like to think I'm the uncle of Bachelor Nation. I watch the show in disgust, but can't turn it off. That's, I think, like most people.
I love it. Yes, I think that is a little bit of what we're all feeling when we watch it, but we love the drama, we love the romance, we live for it all. Before we start breaking down the season, let's just go over where we are right now, where things have left off, so we're all up to speed. We are heading into week 6 with quite a bit of women left. We, of course, left off with that cliffhanger 2-on-1 with Jessenia and MJ. We already know only one can stay. It looks like they're probably both going to go, so we are awaiting their fate. We, of course, also know there's going to be more drama on its way. They've been heavily promoting some sort of feud between Katie and Serena C, which seems like it's sort of coming out of absolutely nowhere. And as if that wasn't enough, Miss Heather Martin is showing up. She's crashing the bubble to shoot her shot. So that is all going to play out next week. And of course, as always, more of the women are trying to join that list of frontrunners fighting for Matt's heart. Right now, that frontrunner list sort of feels like it's Rachael, Bree, Serena P, Michelle. We, of course, could debate. There are a lot of favorites starting to emerge. You know, maybe we want to add Abigail, Kit to that list. With that being said, I want to know how both of you think Matt is doing so far. How is he handling his role as the Bachelor? Is he the leading man we hoped he would be? Mariah, what do you think?
So far, Matt has not disappointed me at all. This is a huge relief compared to our last Bachelor. No offense, Peter, but he drove me crazy. Point blank, period. I think Matt is making all the right decisions. And I personally really appreciate that he's making the environment of the house his first priority and how comfortable the women are in that experience his first priority. So he's weeding out the girls who stir up the most trouble. And I'm really ready for the drama to be gone and the show to go back to focusing on real connections because we've seen everything 100 times throughout Bachelor Nation history, all the drama, all the cat fights. I'm over it. It was entertaining at first, but let's get back to the focus here. What do you think, Dave?
I completely agree. I was worried that since he has never been a part of the Bachelor franchise before, that he might have been pushed around a little bit by the producers to start. Like, I want to see him make all of his decisions. So it was really nice to see him just start to clear people out. I like that he's playful. He's way more playful than a Peter, a Ben, some of these old guys that are just like, old vanilla bread. Like, is that a thing? He's
Yeah.
he's like running around. He's going from one person's interview to another person's. He's praying. Like he's doing things that you don't see too often. And I think he was getting a lot of hate because the drama was taking up all the storyline. But you can't hate on the guy for not causing any drama. You know what I mean?
That is so true. He's definitely been doing his best to not rock the boat, to be great to all of the women, which of course is something we love to see. Speaking of the women, the most ladies ever signed up to be a part of Matt's season, which is such a compliment. I don't know how he's keeping it humble knowing that the most applications ever for a season came to potentially be his wife. He's, of course, met more women than most bachelors and already had to make some shocking eliminations. I want to know who you guys were most surprised to see him send home so far. We talked about how much drama there's been. I think they've had to put so much screen time on the drama. Some of these eliminations took me by surprise. For instance, Mari. They had this really great connection. We had 3 episodes of drama, and then all of a sudden Mari's gone. I never saw that sort of start to fall flat. So ranging from villains to just people that caught your eye, who has surprised you so far, Dave?
I have to say, yeah, when you said Mari, my fiance was like shocked that she was kind of sent home, and you don't really get too much behind the scenes. Like, I'd love to know why, like, what's going through his head when he's sending certain people home, because we see someone who's like, oh,
Hmm.
that's a perfect fit, you know, and then he's got. I mean, they always say like, you know, this has been the most submissions ever. I'd love to see the stats of who submitted for which season, and it would be nice to know if anyone pulled out their submission, if they're like, okay, we're not going to go after Peter. You know, that'd be a fun. I'm a behind the scenes guy. I'm always wondering what the producers are thinking, what's going on, because we only get to see like a small percentage of what's happening there.
I was actually really surprised to see Mari go home. I thought we would see her throughout the season, mainly because his first impression of her was like, what was his reaction when she walked away? Wasn't it like, wow. Like he was just completely taken with her. So I'm like, okay, my girl's gonna make it. I don't know Mari personally, but we have a lot of mutual friends. So I'm like, okay, well, if she's friends with my people, then she's good people. So I thought she was really gonna make it like throughout the season. So I was shocked. I guess, when we look back, we never really see her making a huge effort to get his attention, which I was thinking about, neither did Rachel. And according to Matt, that didn't like restrict any of his interest in her. So maybe they shared a few more moments off camera and
Hmm.
they just didn't really click. I don't know. But so far, yeah, I'm the same with your wife, Dave. When I saw him like not call Mari's name, I was like, hold on, why? I need an explanation.
Yeah, I'm totally with both of you because to me it was like I am seeing him hand roses to people that I don't know if I've even seen him talk to. So what must have happened there that just didn't make the cut that we didn't get to see? I love that we're all on the same page about that because of course Victoria leaving, I mean that was dramatic, that was a scene, that was aggressive. It was shocking in a fun way, but it was Victoria, so it wasn't really truly shocking, if that makes sense. I totally expected nothing less than that from her. Matt has, of course, had very successful one-on-ones. Mariah, I know you and I have talked about this before. It seems like every one-on-one he goes into, the girl walks away in love. He walks away super happy, and suddenly our front runner list just has another name on it. It feels like they're almost going too well. I mean, had Sarah not sent herself home, we would already be, what, 5, 6, 7 women deep. So I want to know, seeing as they've all been pretty successful, which date do you guys feel was the best? In your opinion, you can consider just the activity, the activity and the connection. However, you guys want to rank them, up to you. But what is the best date in your eyes, Mariah?
Well, at first, I was really rooting for Bree. I was like, oh my gosh, Bree and him, like, let's wrap it up. Because their date seemed really dreamy and they seemed like they had like a very solid connection right off the bat. But that, when he finally had a date with Michelle, I was like, Bree, who? Like, the show is actually over at this point. So if I didn't know any better, I would honestly say that they've known each other for years. And based off of like tweets and all of these memes, like I feel like the rest of America saw this genuine connection they had as well. So given that they both seem to have a absolute blast together, we're completely comfortable with one another and could easily start talking about wifey material, like wifey material on date one. Michelle, she has by far had my favorite date.
I love Michelle as well. My favorite part about her is that she sort of ran the date. She was like, let's count down to see how many kids we want to have. You just found yourself smiling at them and like loving them. The other date that I love that was I think at the same level of the one-on-one with Michelle was Serena P. I fell in love with them together. I want her to be bachelorette. I don't think that's going to happen, but like if she doesn't make the cut, I just think she was like so joyful, and you're watching this sea of chaos happening between all the other kind of the mean girls of the house, and then all of a sudden you have folks like Michelle and Serena P with just nothing but teeth, smiles, and just positivity, and you're like, I think we'd be okay with just this type of people on the show. You know what I mean?
Yes, that's
Exactly.
what I'm saying. In all of this chaos, he really does have a lot of great women, and each one-on-one, we kind of finally get to like meet somebody new and see something other than just the crazy negative energy in that house. And I'm starting to think the more cuts are made, the more that group gets narrowed down to just these really, really solid, kind, smart, emotional women. It's going to be very hard for us and for Matt to root for one individual. Circling back to the one-on-ones of it all, are they unbalanced in your opinion? Because I'm sitting at home and I'm watching Rachel go on a shopping spree, walk away with like 6 bags of designer goods, then a gown is sent, she gets Louboutins, and someone else got to ride, ATVs through the mud. So I'm just curious, do you guys think that the more budget, the more, fireworks, etc., bells and whistles added to a date, hint at how perhaps invested producers are, invested Matt is in that person's future on the show? Or is it just sort of the luck of the draw? What do you think, Dave?
I think mainly it's the luck of the draw, production schedule, things like that. But I do think there's something to be said. Like, I mean, imagine if they give Kit Louboutins. She goes, I've had these since I was, 11. There's something about Rachel. She's from like some, southern Georgia county, and then they put her in all these outfits. I think if I'm like sponsoring that, if I'm the fashion line or whatever, I want Rachel in it because she's gorgeous. I think she like every outfit she put on, she looked like she belonged on the cover of some magazine with it. So I think there is something to be said with them looking and going, who can we glam up the most here and like really make them
Uh-huh.
shine? And of course, I think it also has to take into account who does Matt like. He's got his small pocket that he's, really rooting. He's probably got 3 or 4 that he gets that are his like top choice. And I think Rachel's in that.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's an interesting theory, like as far as the production's budget and everything. But at this point, I feel like the budget really shouldn't be an issue when it comes to dates. So it kind of seems like Matt chooses these dates with specific women in mind, maybe. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
impressed with the shopping spree or the cooking, really, for that matter. The cooking date, like, I think that's really cute and it can be intimate. But I think the reason why I wasn't impressed with their date was because I'm not convinced they have like a genuine connection. I feel like he thinks she's really
Mm-hmm.
cool and like trendy, and she lives this like really cool New York City life that he would like to have. But I don't actually think, I just feel like he wants to look cool in front of her, and that outshines
Mm-hmm.
anybody. Like when you're focused on trying to look cool and like how someone thinks you dress or how you're living, like, okay, yeah, that's cute and everything, but that doesn't have anything to do with the actual connection that you're going to carry on. And as far as the shopping spree, like, I would love a shopping spree date. Any man could take me shopping and buy me Louboutins, and I'd be like, wow, Prince Charming, where have you been all my life? But I didn't really think that was a bonding experience for them. I mean, I guess I just thought that was, I don't know. That was probably those two least favorite dates. I don't feel like they got to have a ton of fun together. They didn't have like a game to play, something new that they haven't done before. Everyone's cooked before and everyone's been shopping. So I don't know, not my favorite.
Some hot takes. I love it. No, I am with you on Kit's date. I mean, I think we talked about this in the recap, but most women get a full day and then they go home and they get ready and they come back and there's the dinner, with the crazy tablescape and the candles everywhere. And she was just like, all right, show up at the house and let's make some cookies. It definitely felt
Yeah.
unbalanced. And it might be telling. I think you're right, Mariah. There has been a lot, and I mean a lot of talk this season just about how toxic that house is. We, like, thank God, love to see women supporting women, and we have not seen that this season, just to put it bluntly. Obviously, Queen Victoria has been a character in Bachelor Nation like no other. I think I have never seen anything like her before. But I don't want to make it seem as though she is the only one guilty of bad behavior, because let's face it, she just isn't. So obviously we can go with Victoria, but I want to know who stood out to you guys in these first 5 weeks as being either the head villain or just guilty of bad behavior. Mariah?
I mean, yeah, Victoria is the most obvious choice for like the biggest villain. But I feel like nobody has talked about Kit. Like Kit showed a nasty side as well. I keep going back to when Sarah came to address the group of girls, and Kit, I feel like every time Victoria has had a flare up in front of everyone, Kit is right there, like kind of encouraging it. And that to me makes her an equally guilty party. So I originally thought like, okay, well, she's a villain. She's doesn't seem like a very nice girl to me at all. But we haven't really
Mm-hmm.
seen her be, show that side of her again since I well, I don't know, I guess we kind of have. You know, they go on a walk, they're talking bad about people, and it's like you're not just
Hmm.
venting about how someone is making you feel, you're legit talking bad about them, attacking their character. So nobody has talked about Kit, but I'm here to talk about it because I don't feel like she's been very nice throughout the season so far. At first, I thought MJ was going to be one of my favorite girls in the house. Like the curly hair, she was really sweet. She was very herself. I was like, oh, love her already, but I'm shocked to see like how she's turned out to be. She has turned out to be not only a mean girl, but someone I'm like, this doesn't make sense. How are you leading by example? What does she say of like peace and harmony? I'm like, girl, do you know what peace and harmony mean? I explain this. So those two girls, I'm like, they're definitely two of my villains now.
You hit the nail on the head with MJ. She walked out of that limo with pizza, and I was like, "It's over. Send everyone else home. She's the one." I set the bar so high for her, and then I felt like a disappointed dad when he finds like drugs in his kid's car. I was like, "How could you do this to
Mhm.
me, MJ? We had a good thing. You had it all lined up." I think when and then Kit actually, I saw villain all the way because I was like privileged New Yorker, socialite. You just know I'm like this, and then she wasn't a villain right away. And I was like, oh, maybe I had it wrong. And then she kind of showed her stripes, became kind of impressionable. I think that like the psychology of it is that some people will just suck up whatever energy is given to them. MJ, there could be a world where she's not a bad person, but it wasn't on this show. Like not what we watched. Same thing with Kit. Like, were they trying to join the caddy club because it was like the comfortable place to be versus Katie, who's like, let's not talk trash about people that aren't here. I mean, some people can be
Mhm.
Katie's in life where they can march to the beat of their own drum and they can not be that impressionable. And then some people are like MJ's that just became like Anna's henchman or whatever. So yeah, I mean, it all comes down like because we watch the show as if we're in the lead's shoes. We're like, who we would like, this and that, and yeah, as you're watching, you're just like get slowly getting disappointed because we expected something else. So it's like we're like seeing the red flags that we had painted white to begin, and then we're slowly being revealed like, oh, that's not my cup of tea. And then the people that kind of are good humans, high energy, become more attractive. Like Katie is 50% more attractive because she's not willing to apologize for the wrong reasons and take any trash from anybody.
Yeah, that's a really, really great point. I think that like there is definitely something to be said about we have seen a lot of different colors from a lot of different women. You know, you'll see a teeny soundbite of someone and they seem so nice and great. And then you see them gossiping with someone who has a different energy, shall we say, and they meet them right at that level. So who is truly nasty and who got carried away? I think will be
Mhm.
difficult to sort out throughout this show, but it's very unfortunate, especially the dynamic that was created with the arrival of the new girls. That created so much petty drama in that house. It, of course, also added just more connections for Matt to consider, more options for him to weigh, which to me seemed so stressful. I want to know your opinions as viewers. Do you feel like adding these women in, which obviously, I mean, I'm pretending to be a producer right now. Clearly, it was to stir the pot, right? They knew that they were bringing more women in. He already has a lot of great connections. This wasn't like a last ditch effort to make him connect with someone. He's already got great connections. Um, do you think it ultimately led to just too much time on drama? And do we want this to become like a standard thing in Bachelor Nation? Do we like this idea of, pulling the rug out from under everyone and sliding new people in? What do you think, Dave?
Well, I like to look at it from a producer's point of view. This whole year is just crazy, right? So you wonder were these extra group of girls, they've just been sitting around the other side of the resort waiting for their name to be called. So they didn't. So were they going to always bring them in midway through the season, or were they just holding them in their back pocket? Someone like Brittany is like really a good catch. How did she not make the first batch of girls? Like I don't understand how they chose to release the second set. But then the second thought is, it's never good. I can't speak for all men or for all women out there, but as a guy, it's never good to have too many options. Netflix. I'll spend 3 hours trying to find a TV show, then the night's over. We're consumed with too many choices. I'm sure he would have been happy with 6 of these ladies. Like I like In and Out. They have 3 options on the menu. Everyone leaves there happy. Yet Chris Harrison knows what he's doing. They're cashing their paychecks and they're loving the fact that they're throwing new people into it. But to answer your question on is this good long term, it's not sustainable because who's going to want to go on the show when they just think they're going to have to deal with all this competition? Competition's never good when trying to like foster a relationship.
Couldn't agree more. I mean, as a viewer, it's entertaining, of course, and it stirs the pot, which is cool to watch. And I can see from a producer standpoint, I mean, let's go back to the fact that the most female participation has been with Matt's season. So maybe the producers were like, well, we have so many girls already. This is a good opportunity to stir the pot later on, and we can introduce a few more as the show progresses. So I get that as like strategy, but also as someone who really is just sick of the drama and just really wants to see the real love connections form, I would prefer them to maybe not continue this in the future seasons.
Yeah, I'm with you both. Honestly, I wonder if they put these, group of ladies in their back pocket in case there wasn't enough drama. I'm kind of thinking back to Tayshia and Claire's season, and there was not, aside from the little Bennett Noah nonsense, which was truly nonsense, we had a lot of just kind of like pretty standard good behavior from that group across the board. Even when they brought in some new guys for Tayshia, it didn't ruffle feathers. And being in this resort bubble and having less extravagant dates to go on, I wonder if they thought like, well, we have so many women that applied, let's just keep this just in case. But Victoria alone created enough drama that I felt like we didn't need this. It just piled on. It was too much. But we did get Michelle, so I'm going to stop complaining because I love that we have Michelle, thank God. Moving on from all of this, let's talk Rachael, because I have to say, I am dying to hear your takes on this. I don't even know my take on this. I'm feeling overwhelmed. Rachael has been a leading frontrunner, but since the first episode aired, she's also been a source of controversy online. During week 5's episode, many members of Bachelor Nation tweeted out about struggling to enjoy watching her date, enjoy watching her time with Matt, because they feel like they can't root for her moving forward. So quick backstory, if you guys aren't up to date on the rumors circling online, all of this drama started when a TikTok user went viral after posting a video accusing Rachael of bullying her in high school for dating Black men. She later posted a second video sharing messages from people with similar experiences. And then just this week, another TikTok user accused Rachael and her family of to put it bluntly, of racist behavior on their social media, from the past. She claims to have done a deep dive and dug up all this evidence. And again, I just want to make it very clear, the first 2 TikToks as well, these are just alleged. We have no way of actually knowing that, those DMs were real or that the, video in and of itself was real. But it really has caught on and a lot of evidence has been presented, so much so that Matt actually commented on the rumors to Entertainment Tonight.
I haven't spoken to anybody since the show ended, but I would say that, there's you got to be very careful about what you're doing on social media. And rumors are dark and they're nasty and they can ruin people's lives. So I would give people the benefit of the doubt, and hopefully she'll have her time to speak on that.
Rachael, of course, has not posted anything on her social media. She's not responded. At this point, as we're recording this, she hasn't responded to any of these claims. And Matt finished his statement saying there's a lot of stuff going around about the women that were involved in the show. I would just give them a chance to kind of have their piece. So obviously, if you're keeping up with buzz on social media, and I think it's pretty obvious to anyone who's watching, she's going to go far. She is one of our leading frontrunners. Their connection is undeniable. What do you make of this controversy? And let's say she's the woman who wins this in the end. Should she address this on social media? Should she say nothing? I feel like we've never experienced this before. Social media is playing a whole new role in the way we view these contestants. Mariah, what do you think?
I am not a supporter of cancel culture. I don't condone racist behavior or ideals. So I hope that she's learned from her mistakes if there is any truth to this controversy. And I do
Mhm.
appreciate, as well as many others, when someone just owns up to their mistakes and apologizes for past choices. So I hope to see her address these things soon, because I feel like the longer she waits, the worse it's going to get for her, the more rumors are going to spread, and the more people are going to start to not root for her. Um, like
Mhm.
myself, it is a little hard for me to root for her and Matt. And maybe that is somewhat because of what I've been paying attention to as far as rumors. I've seen the TikToks, I've read the DMs or messages. But rumors aside, I just don't see a lasting relationship there. I can see why Matt is taken with her, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're right for each other long term. So I hope that she makes a statement for her sake, especially
Mhm.
as she's going to be here. She's obviously a public figure now, and we've heard that she's going to go really far in the season. So, for her sake, it is just wise for her to come clean, say something. But as far as my personal opinion, I'm not 100% pro Matt Rachel. What do you think, Dave?
Interesting.
I think I want to avoid this answer, but I won't. I'll tackle it. I think, first of all, I don't think anybody cares what I think. I'm a white guy from New England. With that said, I have yet to see a ton of evidence that says it was her. The whole first TikTok was saying that Rachel's friend group was bad. So I asked people that are watching, point me in the direction of a high school group of men or women friend group that was all A plus standard behavior. Also, and this doesn't make it right, but if she's from some, small county in Georgia with a history of segregation, are we really surprised here? And are we even addressing the right problems, which is ingrained racism? Can you be a good person who comes from that? So if we look at what I've found that Rachel's posted more recently, like in the last year or two, she's posted pro Black Lives Matter. She's been, I mean, like, am I going to judge someone for who they are when they're 15? Or am I going to judge someone for who they are now? And also, the deck was stacked against Matt before the season because people were saying before the season, if he picks a white chick, I'm gonna be pissed. And it's like, hold
Yeah.
my Tecate. Not only does he potentially pick a white chick, excuse me for saying chick, but does he also pick someone who has a past of taking photos or liking photos in front of a Confederate flag? Like, newsflash, United States of America, we have a big history we're just getting over with the Confederacy. A lot of people have photos with a Confederate flag. If you've been throughout the South, and just liking somebody else's photo while it looks bad now wasn't exactly put you in jail 5 years ago. I hate to say it. So my thought with it all is like, look, I'm going to need some more info before I cancel somebody, and even then, why make a statement before she does? Yeah, let's just see, how it all plays out. But it's a tough position for Matt to be in. You never want to potentially start a relationship, get engaged or whatever, with something like that, with people judging you without knowing what her true character is. And that's not an apology for what she may or may not have done. I'm just not surprised in the least that this may or may not have happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think you both made such great points there. This is a very complicated, multi-leveled, commentary on the world we're living in, the issues with social media, how do you validate things, the dangers of cancel culture. She definitely is someone who I think made, whether or not we fully buy her connection with Matt Mariah, which I'm kind of with you on, a good impression, of people on the show. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see, does she eventually say something? What does she say? And you know what? If there happens to, of course, be absolutely zero truth to any of this, she should, as Matt said, have a chance to, speak out, say her truth, share her story. So we, of course, will be waiting to see how this all shakes out online on the season and then some. We could not do a mid-season review, you guys, without doing some of our final predictions for how all of this is going to shake out. I want to know, we're talking about how the list of frontrunners kind of continues to grow and grow and grow. We've met some really incredible women, even through all the chaos. So I'm curious if you guys are starting to have strong feelings about some of the women that we might see, let's say like in that top 4 zone. And then if either of you have, a gut instinct on who our winner is. So let's start with you, Dave. Who are you feeling like we're going to be seeing towards the end? And do you have a win?
Well, I I want Brittany. I want to know more about Brittany. I want her to sort of redeem herself. Not that she needs to because she did anything wrong, but like Matt had said, she came
Mhm.
out all guns ablaze, and then all of a sudden she's been wrecked by all this defamatory accusations. So I'd love for her to come out and be like her true colors and really awesome, and he gets to see that side of her. So I hope that she's in the top four. I Michelle's amazing, and again, I'm a big fan, like I said before, of Serena P. And of course, I think Rachel's sticking around. So those are my kind of top choices that I'm rooting for.
All right. Do you
I
have a
mean,
winner?
oh,
Do I have a winner? I
You
I
don't have to. You can be unsure.
I if I were Matt James, the winner's Serena, but I think he's gonna go
Okay.
with Miss Louboutin's Rachel.
All right. We'll have to see.
I mean, you guys know that I am Team Michelle. I talk about her every time I'm on here. I'm like, "Woo, Michelle! Like, let's go, wrap it up, baby." But I would just love to see the two of them end up together. I agree with you, Dave. I really want to get to know Brittany more. I feel awful for her. I feel like her whole experience so far has been based on this awful, awful rumor that would, I mean, seeing her first hear about it and getting like emotional made me want to be emotional because I can't imagine being put in that position. So I hope that she gets to really advance in this season and let her true colors shine. Like, we all want to get to know her really well. She really put herself out there, like the first impression she made. So I'm hoping to see more boldness out of her. But I also, I mean, based off of spoilers and rumors, I do feel like Rachel is going to advance pretty far in the competition. Again, not necessarily rooting for Matt and Rachel. So I hope, maybe, I hate to say that, but I kind of hope the rumors are false. Because I'm so loyal to Michelle.
So do you think Michelle could win it all? Is she at least who you're rooting for?
In my book, yes, I think Michelle has everything she needs, Matt needs in a wife. I mean, I don't know him personally, but I would be fine telling him what he needs. And I think that's Michelle. So I see her making it to, to the end.
All right. Well, I love it. It's always so funny to say like who wins because they get engaged. It's not really like you win a trophy, you win a husband. So we'll see who ends up being the last woman standing. And honestly, you guys, if Matt even proposes at the end of this, so much exciting stuff to come. We cannot wait to see how it all plays out. Dave, thank you so much for joining us. This was so much fun. I know you have some hot takes on Bachelor Nation and you are constantly serving them up to the people. So if they want to check out your content and hear more of your Bachelor takes, where can they find you?
Just search Dave Neal on YouTube. I do a live stream after the episode, Pacific at 10 p.m. I do a 4 p.m. Thursday live stream as well. And if you want to hear videos about me saying why Brittany should be suing Chris Harrison in The Bachelor, go check that out because I have been railing on The Bachelor's reckless use of how they edit this show. So I'm over there on YouTube.
I love it. I'm certainly going to head there because I agree with you and I want to hear all of your takes on that. Oh my goodness. All right, you guys. On that note, we of course want to know your thoughts. Let us know how you think Matt's been doing. What are your thoughts on who's going to win? All of your opinions down in the comments. And if you haven't already subscribed, make sure you do because we're going to be covering all things Matt all season long. As always, I'm your host, Fiona Zaring. I was joined by Mariah Davis and, of course, Dave Neal. If you want to check out our socials, our handles are on the screen right now. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye.